Welcome to another week of Experience Andy Wines Live, and today we're going to lean into one of my favorite phrases, embrace the suck, and how it's transformed from a battle cry in the military to a way of living my life. First, though, I want to take a moment to reflect some gratitude out in the world, be thankful for what I am grateful for. And today it's a simple one. Today I thought, okay, what am I grateful for? And I'm grateful for the opportunities to speak. And who are the people that get me there? One of the people is Susie Moon. Susie Moon is an executive assistant out of the Madison, Wisconsin area of the market. And she's the one that started the process here that got me down to Branson, Missouri to be speaking tomorrow morning at the Missouri Association of Workforce Development. Talk about words and how they impact employment for people that are seeking employment, for those that are supporting those that are seeking employment, and also for all people that are employed and want to make more out of their career. So, Susie Moon is the one that made this happen. Been working with her for a number of years, and she's a huge fan of mine. I'm a huge fan of hers. She's allowed me to come down here this week and do what I do best, do what I love doing, which is keynote speaking. So huge shout out to Susie Moon. And for anybody out there that needs an executive assistant, she's a little more specialized in what she does. Look her up. Susie Moon, pretty simple to find on the interwebs. She's out there. She's the woman behind the scenes supporting other people's dreams. Maybe that's a great tagline for her. The woman out there behind the scenes supporting other people's dreams. So that's Susie Moon for you. All right, my ask this week, make it simple. Share what you learned here with somebody else. Share it in the way of sharing it on the internet, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn, YouTube, where you find your content. Share it with others. Share the links. Share it within the platforms. The more and more content I put out there, the more and more people I can impact. That's how I live my life. That's what I love doing. I want to impact people in this world, and for the people that interact with the content, the people that find value in the content, people that watch me every week, I ask you to share it with somebody else. Pay it forward, pay the lesson learned, use this as an opportunity. Maybe there's a conversation you want to broach with somebody and you're not really sure what the words are. Share the video and ask them, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Allow that to be the catalyst, the start of a great conversation, a way for other people to connect. And that's exciting for me. I love hearing about that when people say, hey, I heard you say this, and now because of that I've changed the way of doing business. I get excited about that, knowing that I'm having an impact on this world and knowing that people are taking the content and using it for what it's the purpose is, which is to make the world a better place, one word at a time. That's my goal in life. I want to change the world one word at a time. That's what we're doing here today. All right, let's talk about embrace the suck. 21 years. I've been in the military 21 years as of today. Tomorrow will begin my 22nd year of military service in the United States Army. And embrace the suck is a battle cry that we learn early and we profess it often. And we even got t-shirts that say embrace the suck. We know things in this world are going to suck. The more you lean in, the more you accept, the better life is. It's a stoicism in a sarcastic kind of way, right? Or in my case, I have the phrase have faith in your fate tattooed in my arm, right? Accepting the reality of what's going on. And that's the way we use it in the military. And I realized over time, and I shot a piece of content recently that really got me triggered here, or triggered me for this thought. I wasn't that triggered about embracing the suck, as in suck at something new today. Not only embrace it when something is awful happening near you, right? That embrace the suck. No, go out there and create shitty situations for yourself. Get uncomfortable with situations. That's where the real magic happens. When we're kids, we're always taking on new things. We always want to learn more. I got a 10-year-old daughter, soon to be 11. She might as well be 37. She idolizes being an adult. She so much wants to take on all these responsibilities. Right? Think about all the things we've done, from learning how to learning how to ride a bike, learning how to read it. And we had this thirst for knowledge, and you wanted to graduate college, you want to get in your career. And at some point, we stopped wanting. We got comfortable. At some point, we stopped wanting to achieve or be good at something. We were accepting the fact that we were good at some things and not good at other things. I know for me, I took up drums in high school. I was terrible at it. I took up good. I tried. I didn't even take up guitar. I held a guitar once and had no clue what I was doing. That's about as far as I went. I tried singing one time in a band. I am tone deaf. I wanted so bad to be in a band in high school, and I did all these things and I sucked at it. And I checked it off the list of things that I sucked at. Okay, I sucked at it. I checked it off the list. I remember skiing. I went skiing for the first time. I was like 30 years old. I'm like, I'm going to be terrible at this. I got stuck in the fence, the snow fence on the bunny hill. I got stuck in the fence. I was that bad at it. By that afternoon, I was going down the greens and the blues. I even took on a black diamond the next day, right? because I sucked at it long enough until I didn't suck at it. And I now enjoy skiing a couple times a year. Like little baby hills, like Wisconsin hills, not when I go to Aspen. The key is, though, I sucked at something, I embraced it. The piece of content I put out last week was all about when you suck at something, no one even notices it, right? When you write a poem and it's terrible, you're not going to do anything with it. When you write a song or a little tune, play it, enjoy it for yourself, rekindle what you're doing. And then as you get out into life, start doing it at bigger levels. This afternoon, as I was flying down here to Branson, I was on the plane. I picked a movie, and the movie I picked is the new Bob Dylan movie. I have it right here. I pulled it up and pulled it down. A Complete Unknown, which is a great lyric in one of his songs. I love Bob Dylan. When I used to work at UPS, I would listen to Bob Dylan's Greatest Hits, Volume 1 and Volume 3, every single day, back to back, on a CD with my boombox with rechargeable batteries. And this was back in 2002. There I am at 3:30 in the morning listening to Bob Dylan's Greatest Hits. Needless to say, I was not a well-respected, liked person on the floor as I'm listening to Bobby D every morning. Point being, I'm watching the movie today, and I'm hearing him play songs that I'm absolutely in love with. And this is when he was a complete unknown. This is when he was in New York playing. He was playing other people's songs at first, and then he was writing songs and giving them away to other folk singers because they had a bigger following. He thought that would get him closer to his goal and his dream. He sucked at something long enough until he stopped being terrible at it. And now Bob Dylan, to this day, I saw him last year in concert. I saw him 10, 15 years ago, thinking it'd be the last time I could see him. I saw him last year with my brother. He's still out there 60 years later playing gigs because he was willing to suck at something long enough until he didn't suck at it anymore. It's that simple. Another person, Jesse Cole, Savannah Bananas. I watched a video this morning about Jesse Cole. Savannah Bananas. If you're not familiar with Savannah Bananas, they are the greatest show right now in all of sports and maybe all of entertainment. They have sold out tickets. They sold out MLB stadiums last year. They're selling out football stadiums this year. They have more followers on social media than the top 12 MLB teams. The 12 MLB teams that made the playoffs last year have less followers than this small little team from Savannah, Georgia. When they first came out, the St. Patty's Day parade 10 years ago, they came out with green t shirts on with the Savannah Bananas logo. The green t shirts was because they weren't ripe yet. They got booed. Who boos people at a parade? They got booed. They sold 2 tickets in their first 3 months of going out there. By the time they got to their first game, they were sold out. Then they continued taking on new things. The first time they had a broadcast on ESPN, the first 10 minutes were not being broadcasted because of technical difficulties. They sucked at it. And by the second broadcast, they figured it out. Every single time they go out and on that baseball field, they suck at something new. And sometimes it works out. I even watched a video at the very beginning. They bring out a banana in this briefcase, right? And they have to say whether the banana is fresh or ripe. I think it's ripe or rotten. I think it's ripe or rotten. And the little kid, little 3-year-old kid, takes it out, takes a bite. He yells in the microphone, "Rotten." The first time in 10 years that somebody said rotten. And what do? They laugh, they enjoy it, they let the show goes on, right? They did something habitually for years that worked for them, and now they did it one time and it didn't work. It They went backwards, and guess what? They're not going to stop doing it. They're going to do it again. They're going to make it a little bit better. Maybe they'll preload the kid and say, "Hey, kid, you got to say ripe, not rotten, no matter what the question is. You say ripe, not rotten," because they're willing to suck at something new. It's no different than me. There are shows week in and week out. I come here in front of you and I'm like, "Ooh, I got a good topic. I got some of my points. I'm sitting there or I'm standing there in my office. I got my whiteboard going and I get out there and it's just like bleh, word vomit. And I tell this story and that story and it doesn't really correlate. I'm like, where are we going here? There's times I've been on stage and I've lost my train of thought. Times I've been on stage, people ask me a question. I started answering and realized I really didn't have the answer and I was making up as I went. And every single time I do this, every time I go out there, I get a little bit better, a little bit stronger, a little bit smarter because I get to go out there. I don't have to. No one's rattling my head in the morning telling me what I have to do. I get to go out there. I get to suck at something new every single day. Even tomorrow, I got a 60-minute keynote in front of 300 people, a keynote that I've never done before. I get to go there. I get to fail. I get to succeed. I get to do that. Yeah, there's a piece of me that's nervous. And I have a choice. Am I anxious or am I excited? It's rooted in my language. In the keynote tomorrow, I'm talking about the discomfort of life, right? When you feel uncomfortable, good, you're feeling uncomfortable. Comfort is the enemy of progress. P.T. Barnum said that. So stop and consider this. Reflect when you're uncomfortable. Are you uncoachable? Unable to learn? Unwilling to do something different? Or are you uncertain of the outcome? That'll change the way you see the world. Because once you say, okay, I'm uncomfortable, really I'm uncertain, now we can compartmentalize it. What is it you're uncertain about? Well, I'm uncertain about this and this. Okay, what can we do to reduce that uncertainty? We can reduce it. We're not going to eliminate it, right? Or how do we acknowledge it? Okay, yeah, things might not work out the way you want them to. How do we love on that part of ourselves? That wounded inner child, those insecurities, that anxiety, whatever it is you bring to the table. Those two wolves inside of you. You feed the one of abundance. You feed the one of love. That's the one you feed. You starve the one that's full of scarcity and hate. Doesn't mean you can't love it. Acknowledge it's there. Some people have asked me in the past, Andy, how do you live this way? You just go out every day, you're just going to say all these things, and they're very tough and strict in these rules, and you got to live by them. And if you don't, you're a piece of shit. No, I fail every single day at something. I choose to fail at something new every day, or I choose to fail at something I failed at 100 times before, so I can learn one more thing so that tomorrow I might not fail at it. I might suck a little bit less. One of my good friends, Jimmy, has a volleyball shirt. On the top, it is a picture of a head with a like a bullet with a bullseye on it, and there's a volleyball hitting the person in the head. And the back of the shirt, it just says "suck less." And we joke about that in volleyball. That was the name of his team for years. Is "suck less." It's yeah. When it comes to playing volleyball, you're going to get out there. You're going to hit some great balls. You're also going to hit balls that get blocked. You're also going to hit balls that go out of bounds. You're also going to whiff at balls and hit balls in the net. Doesn't mean you stop swinging at the ball. You swing really hard. Or like Jesse Cole said, one of the things with banana ball. I'm on a banana ball kick because I was watching videos in the airport. One thing with banana ball, there is no bunting, right? Baseball is generally boring, so they're making the sport less boring. And one of the things that they got rid of was bunting. And the reason being is Jesse Cole's dad said, swing really hard every time you get up to the plate, just in case you make contact, just in case you put the ball in play. Swing hard. What does that look like in the real world? Go out there, push yourself, read that book that's been on that shelf, push yourself. All right, maybe you only get 2 pages down. Okay, maybe it's one chapter. All right, celebrate that. It's one more chapter than you had the day before. You want the new job? Go to your boss's office and say, hey, I want this position. What do I need to do to get there? Reminds me of Chris Ross with he wanted to be an interrogator. And so he went in his boss's office at the time when he was working for the FBI. He said, I want to be an interrogator. She goes, yeah, everybody does. And she said, what previous experience do you have? He had none. She goes, okay, go volunteer at the New York City, New York crisis and suicide hotline. Volunteer there for 6 weeks. Come back and tell me your findings. What did you learn? So he goes there, suicide crisis hotline. Of course, he sucks at it. He fails it. And then over time, he starts learning some stuff. He goes back in the boss's office 6 weeks later and says, okay, this is what I've learned. And she goes, what do you mean? He goes, I went there. I did what you said. Go there, volunteer, and learn about negotiating through a crisis hotline. She goes, I've told that advice to dozens of people over the last 5 years, and no one's actually done it. He goes, I did do it. Right? Why? Because he said he wanted something. He had that uncomfortable conversation. He was uncertain about the outcome. He was given a clear path, and he went and sucked at something he'd never done before. And now his book, Never Split the Difference, is the top book in negotiating, in sales negotiation, bar none. Why? Because he chose to suck. Whether it's Jesse Cole with the Savannah Bananas, Bob Dylan in New York City in the early 60s singing folk music, or Chris Ross, the foremost expert on negotiating, they all sucked at something at some point, and they chose to continue to suck at it until they didn't. Take this opportunity here, reflect. What is it you haven't been great at in your life that you wanted? What is it you can do today? What language can you shift so that you can embrace the suck, embrace the challenges, right? There's the reality, there's your expectation, and there's a gap. How do you embrace that gap of what you want versus what you got? This is the opportunity. I'll leave it with a personal story. I've struggled for years. Struggled. I love that word. Not suffered, struggled. I've struggled for years getting into a consistent workout regimen. I did the join a fitness club and go there and lift free weights. That didn't work. I did the get a personal trainer for 45-minute sessions, 3 days a week at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they yell at you and you encourage you. That didn't work. I did fit body boot camp. It was like $21 for 21 days, and I felt obligated to go every single day because I paid for it. I have failed time and time again. A little over 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago now, I met a woman at a networking event, and she talked about this thing she has, the exercise coach. Her name's Christine, the exercise coach in Brookfield. And I said, okay, she's here. It's 2 free sessions. You come in, do 2 free sessions. They teach you about it. I said, okay, it's free, right? My favorite 4-letter word, beginning with F. And I went there and I was like, all right, I'll give this hell. I will give an honest effort. I did it. I did my 2 free sessions. Last night, I did my 200th session. Almost 3 years, 200 sessions. I was so proud of myself. I'm a 41-year-old grown ass man, 21 years in the military. I've done PT. I know how to stay in shape. And I was proud of myself that I continued on this journey. 200 sessions. I hit personal bests this week and last week on different machines, the pull down, the lat pull down and press, and also the chest press and the row. I hit personal best because I sucked at it for a long time. I've been inconsistent over the last almost 3 years of going there. I was not great for years at making exercise a priority. And I sucked at it long enough where I started to not suck at it entirely. And I'm really excited for myself. I'm proud of myself. I also have sucked at celebrating my wins. I live a beautiful, wonderful life. I have an amazing girlfriend, an amazing family, an amazing daughter, a great business. I'm here in Branson, Missouri this week, speaking, chasing my passion of keynote speaking. I have an amazing life, and I forget to stop and celebrate all the things that I have going for me. So I sucked at it. And that's one of the reasons why I do the moment of gratitude at the beginning of the show every week, because I suck at looking for gratitude. So I can suck a little bit more and focus on that. And I can embrace that. I can put a post on Facebook like I did yesterday about my 200th, my little certificate, a little Andy W. 200 sessions. Damn, I sucked at about 190 of them and maybe had 10 good sessions along the way. Good. That was the goal. The goal was to do the thing. Yoda says it, do or do not. There is no try. You do the fucking thing. I talk about it every week. When you embrace that, when you go out there and do the fucking thing, no longer trying and actually doing, you might actually not suck someday. And wouldn't that be a beautiful way to live your life? Shift your language, change your language, embrace the struggle, embrace the suck, compartmentalize where you're at. Go out there and get after what this life has to offer you. Do the fucking thing. Tell the fucking world and show the fuck up for all people. Show up for yourself. We'll see you next week.